Guys, two quick things. First of all, sorry I'm late with the episode. I have no good excuse. I fucked up. I'm sorry. Number two, I'm still sorry about the audio quality. This was recorded during the Corona times. It is what it is, and it's okay. That's it. Enjoy the app. Welcome back to the Call-In Show. We're joined now by Emily S. Her second time on the Call-In Show. She's seasoned.
Woo-hoo!
Because I love you guys.
Thank you.
Well, you're the best, Emily.
Love you
And now you're in Nevada.
I am.
Outside of Las Vegas.
We are 15 minutes west of the Strip.
Ooh-wee. And now the Strip is totally closed and has been, right?
Yeah, they shut it down on March 18th, and they shut down. So in Nevada, there's slot machines everywhere, like in the gas station, in your grocery store, and all the machines are turned off.
Oh my God, really?
Oh yeah, it was when we first moved here, it was the weirdest thing I'd ever experienced. Like I went to get gas, I was like, wait, people are gambling. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a place to live. But the Strip's totally it's barricaded. It's creepy.
That sounds, it all sounds post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it's weird. And some of the Strip is still lit up, which is even weirder. There's just signs everywhere telling everybody to wash their hands and buy food.
Crazy. Yep. Now, you have been building hype with us because you started messaging me about the situation and
3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm thrilled for this thing. I know Sarah's already hyped. So can we just cut right into it? Because I got to admit, I'm itching.
Sounds like a plan. So I work in music and I am trying to build myself up as a leader here. I feel like I'm not just some random asshole, or maybe I am trying to do stuff. So we are hit really, really hard in the nonprofits art sector. I feel like all of our shows are canceled.
Oh my God.
So in the meantime, the local university was able to continue with their show, and that's fantastic. But the tweet that they sent out about their show, and this is from the official page, this is not like a student, this is the official page of the university, tweeted out, "You might not be able to see live theater for a while, so come see our show." And I found this to be an incredibly poor taste. The crew that works on their show was laid off that day. That was going to be their last job. So I tweeted back, "I feel like this is a bit tone deaf. I'm excited for your show, but so many other shows have canceled." They tweeted back, "Sorry you feel that way. We're excited." And I tweeted back, "I'm excited for you, but this sort of reads like you're trying to sell tickets because all of the other shows were canceled."
Wow.
So
read the room.
A little bit, but it keeps going, unfortunately. So I assumed that it was some 20-year-old sophomore student who just made some misguided tweets. We've all done it. Everybody said something stupid. I work a lot with the director of the program, so I emailed her, and admittedly in my email, I was a little heated. It had been 36 hours of shows being canceled, the kids that I work with losing their trips, and I said, "I don't know who's running this account, but it feels really tone deaf. There's so many things canceling. Be excited for your show, but maybe don't say, 'Sorry, you can't see live theater anymore.'" Well, it turns out it's the head of the department that tweeted that. So oops. And she did not take kindly to my tweets, and she threatened to quit some boards that we both work on together. She sent I feel like it was an insane email, but this is why I'm bringing it to the court of AITA, threatening to not work with me anymore. And how dare I, and all of these things. So it blew up for a little bit. A lot of people had to be involved. So I deleted the tweets and I said, "I hope you have a great show." And that's the end of it. But she went on a 36-hour, I will destroy Emily for a minute. She unfriended me on social media and was like, this woman is an adult. This is not, a 20-year-old student, which I truly thought it was. I really thought it was a 20-year-old kid in control of the Twitter account, but apparently not.
Yikes. Wait, so remind me, when was this again that this all went down?
2 weeks ago. So it was when all of the shows around our world were canceling. We were getting all of the work from home order. The Strip has a lot of production staff, and they had started laying everyone off. The union had just announced that union techs weren't getting paid. All of the local opera companies lost their season. Everybody canceled anything.
Yeah, that's rough.
So I was admittedly heated, and maybe I should not have. I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is and not just sit passively anymore. So
Right.
I don't know if I was the asshole for tweeting at them or not.
No, definitely not. I think the thing is, like, you were like on the right side of history, and that pattern of thinking is not going to age well. It's kind of like the same people who, like, 2 weekends ago were like, when everyone was like, please try to stay home, but it wasn't like a big movement.
Everybody was on spring break.
Right. It's like they end up looking like assholes in the end.
First of all, I want to say I don't think there's any way I could find you the asshole because you deleted your comments, you pulled back, you kind of undid what you did.
I tried.
Let's just break down the initial tweet exchange one more time. Their tweet,
Sounds good.
what was their tweet again?
Their tweet was, "You might not be able to see live theater for a while, so come check out our show."
And why did that rub you the wrong way?
In that 24-hour period, so I work with kids, I work with a lot of different populations. So all of the schools in Nevada canceled all of their shows. So like I had kids preparing for competitive festivals that found out, the day before that they couldn't do it. Both local opera companies in town canceled all of our shows. Like our seasons are lost. All of the outreach work I do. So I do work for kids with special needs, and we bring opera in there, and then we bring opera to nursing homes. We can't do any of that work. So it's a hit in the paycheck, but I also very much believe in what I do. And nursing homes can be really lonely. So to not be able to bring what we're doing to those populations was hard. My husband is a production guy, so the union guys, they're all out of money. So it just felt very flippant to be like, sorry, everything sucks. Come to my show.
Right. I'm trying to kind of extract away from this because I'm friends with a lot of comedians, and comedians are always going to say the super offensive thing. Now, I don't think it is fair or reasonable to hold a comedian to a standard like this because you're
no, absolutely not.
But this person was speaking on behalf of a theater, or I didn't.
No, it was the official Twitter account for the university.
Yeah, no.
So if someone from the show, like if one of my friends had said, "Hey, you might not get to see theater," I'd be kind of annoyed by it, but I wouldn't say anything. It was the fact that it was coming from the official university Twitter account that was like, this is maybe not a thing you should say if you're running the organization.
Yeah.
If she had tweeted it from her personal account, I probably wouldn't have said anything. It was the university account aspect of it that was like, this seems really misguided.
It was inappropriate for a university tweet, 100%. And I think Sarah's right also on the charge of just that you look good, because it was also probably not very bright for them to have the show and then to rub it in the face as a competitive advantage is absolutely tone deaf. I mean, there's no way around that.
That was what it felt like. But she went at me so hard in the next 24 hours. It was like, did I fuck this up? I had this moment of panic of like, I've ruined my career. No one will ever hire me again because I tweeted something dumb on Twitter.
What was like the response to her? Like, I imagine that most people were like, read the room.
The woman that I work under is an amazing mentor and friend. And so she sent an email kind of saying, so one of the things that they felt with the tweet was that I was tweeting on behalf of other organizations that I work with. They felt that I was like somehow trying to say, my opera company thinks you're stupid. Like, no, this is my personal Twitter account that has nothing to do with, it doesn't even link to any of the groups I work with.
Her from your personal account.
Yeah, I tweeted at UNLV from my personal account. I guess now I said university.
Got it.
So,
yeah, I definitely don't think you're wrong at all. And
I was truly heated. Yeah. Like 36 hours of watching everything you love fall apart will do that to a person.
You were sensitive, and I think that's
absolutely sensitive,
and that's fine. And I think it is a fair standard to hold a university to not tweet fuck ass shit. And I think that's a fuck ass tweet.
Yeah, they're basically just trying to profit off of everyone else taking precautions.
Exactly.
That was what it felt like.
Well, that is what it is. They're like, everyone's closing to keep everyone safe, but we're going to stay open because we don't give a fuck. Because we need to make money. Like, it's gross.
This is why I like comedians a lot. And I think that for the most part, comedians can be offensive and they can do offensive things. And that's not what I like. But comedians are receptive to feedback. You've got to be.
Well,
You can't.
you have to be.
Exactly. And what I see in this woman's response was, instead of taking a second and being like, okay, the data, the feedback is coming in. I've offended one person, at least one person, 100% chance I've offended at least one person. Do I need to double down on this? And instead, she like quadrupled down and then attacked you. And it's like, that's inability to like respond to what's happening.
Every show I do, somebody says something to me about what I could have done better.
Right.
And that's part of what we do. And we're all trying to navigate this kind of weird COVID-19 world, but maybe just don't say, since you can't see live theater, like, screw you, dude.
Yeah, and actually, you know, and I'll just, and Sarah knows about this, but, you know, Emily, we had issues because I messed up the last call-in show, and
yeah.
I was so panicked, and I treat everyone, you know, either on the Facebook or the Patreon, I will chase someone down if I see that they left or that they had a bad experience in any way, because ultimately it's like, I care what people think. I want to have a positive effect on the world, and even though I do have to take a second and be like, oh, wow, I fucked up because I'm an idiot, or I'm thoughtless, or I'm selfish, or for whatever reason, ultimately it's a good thing to receive negative feedback, because at least you can then fix the problem. You can put out another tweet, Karen.
Well, that was it too. Like, it's fucking Twitter. It's screaming into a void. You didn't have to say anything.
That's a lot of insecurity and a lot of bullshit. And I really think too, and I've said this before, but like getting in these internet fights, and I almost got into like 5 today just because there's people posting about the virus
every day.
and shit. And I'm just like, am I really going to do this? Am I going to really respond to this and have this with this person for no reason, you know? And I'm just like, no, I'm not going to let myself do that.
I genuinely,
good for you, Danny. That's maturity.
That is, well, in the moment, I was like, this is some young kid who doesn't know better. We can be better in this community right now. I didn't realize it was her tweeting it. I probably wouldn't have responded if I knew it was her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it just seems so inappropriate. Yeah, I mean, I can't come for you at all, because I do think that and I think the president is the ultimate proof of this, and this is not a likable take, but I've heard other people say it as well. But I actually think Donald Trump is funny. Like, I think he's a funny person. When I watch a press conference, I find myself liking him. I don't want my government or my university people to be funny at all. That's a terrible trait for those things to have. Or my doctor. I don't want a funny, no jokes, doc. Let's impress me with your credentials.
Yep.
I don't think there's any way you're remotely an asshole here. I mean, I think it was a very valid tweet.
No.
And this woman started a witch hunt. I mean, this is just madness.
Okay, I feel better. Because this has been eating at me, y'all. Like, and we have too much time to just sit at home. Only so many episodes of Chopped that you can watch.
There's something about these online fights, and I'll confess to this, and you know, you'll like catch yourself looking back over the data and like rereading your conversations or like mulling it over in this way where it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like making a true crime podcast out of your stupid petty thing, you know? That's what I do. I'm like, oh yeah, I got him so good in this thread, and then I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys taking on the case of Emily versus people who I thought were more mature than me. That's such an asshole thing to say.
Well, I think you are picking up on some probably very toxic traits from this person, and I'm sure that is scarring. I mean, I urge you not to dwell on it because I think you're so obviously in the right. But like, you know, people could say things that are really hurtful and haunting. So it's not surprising to me that in this quarantine you're kind of mulling it over still.
I feel like half the reason people write into AITA with what everyone sees as validation posts are like, it's just because when you like have what you think is a very reasonable response and someone's response is to like go straight up into attacking you, it makes you second guess yourself.
Absolutely. You're just like, what the fuck?
Right. And because it's also kind of like, because what you did is so, I mean, you sent a tweet, she sent a tweet, you sent a tweet. It's like no imbalance there. But then the imbalance on her end later to me says you just saw the tip of the iceberg because you gave her a tiny bit of criticism and then she just exploded. And that has nothing to do with you.
And I'm trying to remind her that, like, this stuff is taxing for everyone right now. Nobody's in a good place. But, like, you still got to do your show. That's great. Couldn't you have said something about how exciting it is or the precautions you're taking at the theater? Or
Yeah, the precautions at the theater would have been a great thing to bring up. I felt super validated. I was scheduled to do a show, I think like March 6th or something like that. And my friend, I tried to bail and my friend was like, look, you can't bail. It's too late. And then the day of, I was like, I'm sorry. Like Broadway's closed, dog. Like I'm not going to freaking New York Comedy Club when Broadway's closed. And
right.
That was at like 2 p.m. and at like 4 p.m. he messaged me and he's like, hey, I'm sorry, we're not doing any shows. And I was like, yeah, you're not. Damn it. They closed the city, baby. What are we doing?
On the 6th? Damn.
One of my groups was supposed to have a show on the 18th and I canceled it because it was like, I can't in good conscience right now bring all these people together. And there was this weird, probably bullshit story that was going around that singing is somehow worse during coronavirus because we project germs on everybody. It was dumb, but it had hit the internet for a minute. And I was like, I'm canceling this show. And that day, the governor was like, state's closed, bars are closed.
I do think we all agree, especially because you are OP, you got to agree with us. AITA for tweeting at the university about their dickish tweets. I think I say not the asshole. Yeah, and she is, and the other person is.
You guys are amazing.
You're the best. Great to see you again. All right, everybody, welcoming to the show, Dawn S. Dawn, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Dawn, you've been in the Facebook group for a while.
Yeah, probably about a year at this point.
Woo!
I love it. I think you're really starting to kill. You've definitely risen the ranks. I don't know if you're commenting more, but you've definitely become easily top 5 favorite commenters of mine.
Well, I think that whole fake jellyfish tank thing has become kind of my signature
So
at this
good.
point.
Yes. For those of you who don't know the full story, I offered a fake jellyfish contest based on a previous submission, and Dawn coined the term FJTN, fake jellyfish tank needed. So this is an alternate verdict that can now be given.
Amazing. Don, I have to tell you that everyone started using it and I missed this inception of this term. So I literally typed it into Urban Dictionary and was like, what the hell does this mean? And it didn't come up with anything.
So Dawn, you were telling me, you're an improviser, you do video stuff, but you've also done some lifting, some Ubering.
Right. Yeah, the usual kinds of gig work that people that are trying to get somewhere in the industry out here in LA do.
You've been on the pod for so long, you were actually in Phoenix and you had submitted before. And I was wondering, would you be willing to just tell us your submission again and we can go through it? I think that was in the Anthony era, so I don't think Sarah's heard it.
I was a Lyft driver and I was working fairly late at night. It was probably 2 a.m. I work that time a lot on weekends because I'm kind of a night owl myself. And I also find that it picks up like right around the time bars get out. So I pick up this one guy and we're talking as we go and he reveals that he's gay. So I'm talking and it turns out this guy actually gave me the wrong address. So I take him to the address that it went to and he's like, this isn't my area. He goes, but we can stop here. And I was like, okay. And I was like, fine. And then he climbs up into the front seat.
Weird.
And he starts kind of making some suggestions. It's not turning into anything yet, but then he reaches over and starts like running a finger on my chest. And my response was, oh, I just need you to know I'm not gay at all. And like as soon as I
remember this.
Yeah, as soon as I said at all, I was like, I feel really guilty about this. Like I overshut this down. And I really literally did feel guilty about it for a while.
I definitely understand the guilt, and I'm happy you're bringing that because I think a lot of people, oh, it's a validation post. And it's like, no, I definitely can understand where your guilt comes from. I think, look, and I would never say this in a way of like, oh, poor straight men, but straight men do. Look, we get a little insecure about the gay thing and there is internalized homophobia, it's there. And then at the same time, we know we need to be kind and we don't need to come off too strong, but like, it's a pretty, and look, I'll say this, I have been hit on by gay men in ways that women have never hit on me. And so it's just a style I'm not accustomed to. And I think all that said, it was probably something you're not accustomed to. And I think you handled it reasonably gracefully.
I feel like I overreacted in a small way, if that's possible.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you had been at a party and it was a situation where you were going to continue interacting with this person, you probably would have been roasted or someone would have been like, at all. Sounds like you are a lot. They would have turned that around on you because it is overreacting. But in the context of you're alone with this guy in the Uber and he just switched seats, something I've never even heard of.
Yeah, that's a boundary cross. Like, this is your Lyft driver, dude.
Right.
You know, I
Right.
have actually crossed a boundary in a lift in what's it called, Indianapolis. I was in the lift, and this guy, black driver, had like green eyes, and they were so I couldn't stop looking at his eyes. They were they were like so bright. They were like brighter than the sun. And at one point, I just said, "You have nice eyes," and I think he took it he got very like he kind of like seized up and like got very tight and uncomfortable. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even mean to hit on you. I was just your eyes are just crazy, bro.
Oh no.
Well, the thing that I always find strange as a Lyft driver is if you're trying to make some kind of contact with a person by looking in the rearview mirror, that comes off as creepy to me as a passenger. So I try not to do that when I'm driving. Is it just like, and it's not intended as creepy at all, but I think we've all seen enough movies where somebody's looking at somebody in the rearview mirror.
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the better parts of Parasite too, where the driver actually he's not looking through the rearview mirror. He keeps turning back. I hate the turning back. Never turn back. Eyes on the road. Yeah, I definitely understand why you're guilty, but let us remove the guilt from you. You have confessed your sins. You're good to go.
Yes, very small infraction, if it even is one.
Now, why don't you tell us on the other side? I mean, you said you're not really doing Lyft right now, but you did it for how long?
I've done it on and off since about 2015.
Oh, that's a long time. So tell us.
Yeah, I got about 2,000 rides in my pocket.
Yeah, you're seasoned. So tell us some common assholes that you run into on the Lyft, like drunk people of that nature, behaviors they do.
What you find around here a lot is people that are like full of themselves.
Yeah.
And if somebody gets in a car with somebody they're trying to impress, first of all, you don't want to get in my car. It's not particularly impressive. It's a Ford Fusion. I mean, it's a nice car, but it's not a limo. And sometimes they're just plain old blowhards. But that's the one that bothers me most is the people that are just like talking about how great they are. And I sit there and I'm like, well, part of what's important to me as a driver is the star rating and possibly a tip. So when somebody's going on and on about something and it's clear they know nothing about it, I'm like, nope, can't say a thing, cannot talk about it, cannot correct them.
You suppress it.
You kind of have to. It's just like, this is not my place at this point. Sometimes I just open my mouth. Sometimes I'm like, I really shouldn't say anything at all about what's going on. But somebody in the back's like they're talking about music and I hear that they're talking about Beck and I happen to play Beck a lot when I'm driving because it's nice and chill at night, the albums that I play. And so I like interrupt them to, hey, this is Beck right now that we're listening to. And I'm like, why did I do that? I'm cool like you.
I got to be honest. I'm feeling a little guilty myself. I guess I was a little surprised to hear you say you look for tips. I am a great tipper, but when Uber first came out, there was no tipping.
Right.
I kind of rationalized to myself, and I often don't give a tip. Don, am I a bad person?
No, for me, about 10% of the total income on Lyft comes from people tipping. The better tippers tend to be the people that you got them at a time when it was really inconvenient for them to get home or they were having trouble finding a Lyft or whatever. The ones that never tip are the ones that assure you as they're getting out of the car that they're going to give you a good tip.
Yeah, seriously. The system was not like a double blind type thing because I just want to know. I'm like, who gave me like a less than stellar rating and like, what the fuck did I do?
Well, one of the things that the drivers know and passengers should know, I know for Lyft this is true. I don't know about Uber. I don't drive much Uber. But if I give you a 3-star or less as a passenger, it will never match you and me as passenger and driver again.
Really?
Oh, good to know.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the same is true the other way around. If you give a driver 3 stars, you'll never be paired with them again.
Well, Don, thank you so much. It was great to have you on the show. We got to have you do more stuff. We're always talking about Ubers and stuff, so we got to get your
Sure. I can. And if you ever need me to throw out a fake jellyfish tank needed,
Yes.
I'm your guy. I can find a way to wedge a fake jellyfish tank into any situation. And the other thing is funny, and I'm going to shout out Lindsay Nicole, who is one of the people I brought into the group and who is also very active in the group. She recently purchased a fake jellyfish tank for herself. It wasn't the Wish one. It was one she got off of Amazon, and she's been sending me her adventures with trying to set it up.
Yeah,
and we need to do somehow press her into sharing information about her fake jellyfish tank in the group. I think it's important.
Well, on that note, Don, thanks for doing the show, and a big FJTN for you.
Thank you very much. It was great to be here.
Take care.
All righty.